All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. We have our student-led internship fair. We're going to jump right in. I don't like to talk a lot during these because I want you to hear from students. So I am going to pass it right off to Grayson.
Alright. Hi, everybody. My name is Grayson. I am a senior at Merrimack College, and my major is psychology. For my internship is at the Lawrence Boys and Girls Club at 136 Water Street, Lawrence. This is an after-school program for students from kindergarten to high school that offers homework help, sports clubs, and extracurricular activities. Their mission statement is to enable all young people to, especially those who need most, to to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. The population served is the Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence serves 4,000 or more youth per year, and on average, 500 young students participate in the programs each day. The roles of the staff that I work with every single day, I named off three of them rather than everyone around, since you mainly work with three in the section of the internship. Suzanne is the person that supervises the whole Boys and Girls Club and is in charge of making sure everything is running smoothly throughout the building. The person that you work with the most in the room that you have during your internship would be Karen, and she's the whole supervisor of the homework room that I enter in and is responsible for making sure every student is where they need to be and getting done the work that needs to be done by the students. And lastly, her helping hand that helps the most, that second in charge, is Amy. And she helps students specifically with their math homework and making sure that important papers that get sent home by the school is getting back to the parents.
Grayson, I'm just going to stop you for 1 second. We can only see your first slide right now. Can you go down
Oh
to?
yeah, of course. It's moving on my screen, but I'm 1 second. I'm very sorry for the
That's okay. It might be, I don't know, it might, if it's frozen
says
there.
it says that it's paused at the moment.
Oh.
I don't know why.
If, I wouldn't worry about it. Keep talking about it because one thing I can do is also I have your slides and I can put some of the information up.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sorry about
No,
that. I
no, no.
don't know. It's
Don't worry.
changing on my screen, but I'm very sorry.
It happens all the time. Don't worry about
Um,
it. Go ahead.
awesome. My role as an intern, specifically for the Lawrence Boys and Girls Club, was that they just got a grant for their new Khan Academy program that they just put into the Boys and Girls Clubs. This is to help out with more math and doing more work that's better than just playing games while all the students are sitting there. Another thing that comes along with my internship, helping students with their problems on their homework that are difficult for them to understand, keeping track and giving out their incentives for doing math in their free time after school that is offered, organizing and keeping intact a binder for the other staff members to help get into the program when I'm not there, working with other staff members to figure out more extensive homework problems and other problems that go along with schoolwork from the older students on any subject at all, and making sure that everyone is happy and safe in the environment that we are in. Why that I chose this internship and why I'm here. I enjoy working with a younger population of students and being able to help them with anything from schoolwork to just an ear to talk to if they're having trouble at home or school. Another big reason I joined was to feel as if I'm making a difference or a change to giving back to a community. That was the biggest goal of mine moving forward with the psychology degree and career in school at Merrimack. A couple of the challenges that I do face during my internship weekly are younger students not wanting to wait when trying to attend to another student. That becomes very complicated sometimes because of all the students around you, and with them being younger, not understanding to wait and have to the people have to manage other people around you as well. Another problem would be having to stay aware of anything going wrong the whole day, as there's a lot happening at once, and not many kids like to be as good as possible for multiple hours at a time. And lastly, making sure that you are a professional as can be with a student, even when someone says something disrespectful or mean to you that is not really what you're looking to hear, but at the same time, it happens during the whole process. Having a great internship. A reason that this is the best internship for me was because making students' day by helping them with work from school that makes them frustrated and confused. Seeing how happy the students are to see you and tell you about their day at school and an awesome weekend that they have had, and giving back to a program that helped me when I was at that same age and being able to be back in a spot that made me very happy in my childhood, as I was also in the Boys and Girls Club when I was younger. And that is it for my presentation.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that you were there when you were younger. That's pretty cool. It's a nice kind of idea of giving back. That's great. Thank you.
I'm very sorry for the whole screen sharing mishap.
That's all right. Not a problem. Hey, we have the last slide now, and
Oh, awesome.
perfect.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Problem.
All right, Emma.
Do you want to put up my presentation or should I? Do you think it would work?
Try it, and then if
Okay,
there's
I'll try.
changes,
If it doesn't work, let me know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's saying something weird about security access, so I might need you to do it for me, please.
Not a problem. I will pull it up right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How's that?
All right, so hi, I'm Emma Carr. I'm a junior and I'm a double major in psychology and business administration. And the organization I worked with is the North American Family Institute, and they call it NFI in like the surrounding states here, but the overall bigger organization is NAFI. And then I did the Massachusetts Impaired Driver Program. And so for program information, the main so there's like a main mission statement for the organization, but I chose the one that we use at the program I'm at, which is just basically harm reduction. So the goal of the program is to prevent future offenses and further prevent any like harm to the client, like themselves or others. And then the population I primarily work with is people with their first or second OUI offense or more than two OUI offenses. And this program is court mandated, so people of any age will have to do this if they obtain an OUI. Okay, and the next slide, please. And so the staff roles, I primarily worked with four people in the program. So the operations director, Katrina, I work with her and Jenna, who are like Jenna's an intake clinician, so they're my main two people. And then I also work with Holly, who does outpatient, which is like booking appointments, working with people over paperwork to enter them into the program. And then Joe's another intake clinician. Yep, okay. And the next slide, please. And then, so supervisor biography, I mainly work with one of the clinicians. Her name is Jenna. She's an LADCI and an LMHC, which is mental health, and then that's also substance use. She's been working in the mid program for about 6 years now, and she used to work with adults with autism. So she has like varied experience. She's very, very nice. I really, really enjoy working with her. And NAFI has like a lot of options for residential, outpatient, and inpatient. And I primarily picked it because I really liked looking into addiction. I find addiction really interesting. So if someone's looking for anything addiction related, this is a really good program for that. Um, and then where was I going with this? I originally applied to the cannabis program and they didn't have any open slots. So I actually just got called and they're like, we have an impaired driver program. Would you be interested? Stuff like that. So you can really apply to anywhere as long as in like your cover letter, you specify what you're trying to work with, like who and like what specific things you're interested in. And like most of the time, you'll get back better information and they'll help you. All right, next slide. So I'm an intern, so basic responsibilities and expectations. I get to observe intake sessions, which is just like basically everyone's information, like their past, kind of on their addiction, and like we just get like a wrap of it. It's called a comp assessment. And then I get to do other forms of paperwork that are pretty basic because they can't give me too much. But and then I use Evolve a lot in Outlook and Excel. Those are like the three main things, which I feel like they use in a lot of jobs as you go on. So very good tools to have. Um, Asking as many questions as possible is really important. And then I get to do a weekly Zoom call with about like 16 people who have got OUIs. So it's like group, they're very big on group therapy. It's been shown that people with addiction work very well in groups. So I get to do like a Zoom call once a week. I get to monitor the class and do the paperwork for that. So it's really cool. So possible challenges, judgment free, especially when it comes to addiction. This applies overall, but judgment free, and you're there to help people. It's not really to give your opinions on other people. Advocate for your learning as much as your supervisor because they don't know how much you can do, and you can always, you know what you can do. So it's good to say that. If you make a mistake, it is always the best option to ask somebody else because you can definitely make it worse. And things I struggled with, people can and they will read your facial expressions. And it is very important to not show people how you feel about them. It's supposed to be very neutral. And working out your own personal biases is not anyone else's job. That is definitely your job. So if you have a bias, you're supposed to be addressing that and paying attention to that. And don't be afraid to ask questions, as I said earlier. And I like this a lot because there's a lot of ways to learn and expand my knowledge, and people are very understanding and welcoming, which I will say is kind of broad across the psychology field. I feel like most people are welcoming, which is nice. And then I've just been given a lot of opportunities to talk with clients, listen in on things, and just like the Zoom class and a lot of paperwork. And I know a lot more about OUIs and how easy it is to get an OUI. So, yeah. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate also mentioning the importance of putting all that in your cover letter. It's something that I tell students. So now someone else with has had that experience. So that's really important because it helps them if they don't have what you need, they can have other suggestions that'll align with your goals, which is great. So awesome. Sounds like a really, really good internship experience. That's great. Thank you. All right, Jules.
Hi. Let me just share that. Hopefully it works for me. I did share it with you, so if it doesn't work, then we can go
No.
ahead and do that because I've never shared on Zoom before, so I don't know what I'm doing.
It used to be all we did, and now we're out of practice. So if it doesn't work,
Let's see. Hold on. Can you see anything?
oh, I think it's gotten there. Sometimes it takes, oh, there it is. Perfect. It's something,
Okay.
we've got it.
Okay, if I press slideshow, just let me know if you suddenly can't see it and it's like not moving between slides, and then I'll just exit out of that. Okay, so I'm assuming that can be seen. So, my name is Jules. I'm a junior. I'm a major in psychology, and this is my internship. So, can you see the slide?
Yes.
All right, good, awesome. So, my internship is at the Artful Life Center. They have two locations, one in Salem, one in Beverly. I bounce between the two. I go in on Mondays and Fridays. Monday, I'm in Salem and Beverly. And Friday, I'm in Beverly. Usually, sometimes that changes, depending on any staff meetings or events, but that's the usual for me. Um, and their mission statement is we are passionate about using the creative process to build connections. We believe that the power of art making allows individuals to feel more connected to themselves, to others, and to their community. And the Artful Life is open to aiding people of all demographics. I've noticed that there's some populations more than others. I see a lot of kids, like younger kids, like 5, 6, but there definitely are also adults and teenagers of various amount of demographics. So it's very diverse. So covering the roles of the staff, there's just like two categories I would put. There are the clinicians who obviously they work one-on-one with clients through various methods of art therapies. There's music therapy, play, drama, painting, etc. Slime, that's a really popular one for some reason. Um, and clinicians, they also come up with staff-led events where they show other clinicians different art practices they can incorporate within their therapies. Um, and I can attend these events too, even though I'm not a clinician, so that's always fun. I get to learn new art projects. And then the managers, there's a few. There's the client care manager who just looks over the client care plans, the office manager. I work with her a lot. Her name is Elisa. And she keeps all the supplies in order, finances, all the behind the scenes. HR manager, I feel is pretty self-explanatory, human resources. The client's account manager, I wrote, I just don't know because I've never met this person and I had no details on this person. Apparently, he just works in an office away from the location. So I don't know, but I just assume he works with the client's accounts. So this is my supervisor, Christina Oliver. She is a licensed social worker with a master's in the field, and she provides support for me in the social work slash clinical setting. I included social work because we meet once a week and we go over different topics or like areas of information about social work or clinical stuff. Even though I'm not a social worker, I think she wants me to be one with everything she tells me. But yeah, I just kind of learned some things if I didn't know them already. And we just talk about how the internship is going that week. And then roles of the intern. So there's quite a few things that I do. The first one is just keeping up to date with your Gmail, Slack. Slack is like this website slash app they use to keep in contact with everyone who's working there. So you can message anyone or they can message you. Usually I will get messages requesting, hey, Jaslyn or Jules, I noticed that this supply was missing. Can you come and refill that? Or like questions like that. Studio walkthroughs, that's something you have to do 3 times a day where there's art studios and you have to go and make sure everything is in stock, everything's in order, and just keep the area clean and looking fresh. Um, the resources, so some clinicians will email me asking if I know of any resources for a client of theirs with a specific issue or need. For example, one recently asked me if I knew any like resources for a teenager who's LGBT and going through any struggle. So I just went and I looked in the area what kind of resources could help, and then I give it to the clinician and they provide it to their client and it goes from there. Event help is like the staff-led events I mentioned earlier. So if there's any projects or materials that need to be brought in, I'm kind of there to help out and get things put together, make the things happen. The waiting room, I provide an example in the next slide actually, but they have waiting rooms and you make a poster and come up with a monthly question and decorate it accordingly. For February we did a Black History Month one, and then for this month I just did it in the theme of spring. You'll see that soon. And then shadowing clients, I don't actually have any personal experience of that because I finished my HIPAA trainings, but no clients have consented to being shadowed, which fair enough. I wouldn't want to be shadowed in that scene either, but hopefully I'm going to get some experience soon. So that's a up in the air thing. And then here are some examples of the posters. The ones on the right are the ones for this month, what helps you grow. And I put a bunch of flowers because spring. And then what lights up your path. That's another one for this month because I usually come up with a few just in case. And then the bottom left one was for Black History Month, which it was a collaborative thing between the staff where I just wrote the word embrace on there and then everyone kind of collaged together what that word made them think of. So that was fun. And then why did I choose this site? So I chose the Artful Life Center because art and expression through it have always been important to me. And I originally wanted to pursue art as a career, but I decided to go with psychology because I like that as well. But when I found out about art therapy, I didn't know any places that practiced it. So it was kind of just an idea in my head. I didn't know how I could put that into practice. But then when I found out about the Artful Life, I felt like it was the perfect site for me and the perfect opportunity. So I get to explore that and I really enjoy it. And then some potential challenges that have come up for me, at least. One was time management, because when you first come in, they just give you like a list of all the tasks that need to get done by the end of the day or by the end of the week. And it's not really organized by like time or when it needs to get done. So it's really up to you. So you need to manage your time properly to make sure you're able to get everything done. And if you're not able to, you can at least communicate, like, I couldn't get this done because of XYZ. Prioritizing. So also have to kind of understand which task should come first because people just kind of add it to your list as it goes. So you want to keep a mental track of, okay, they just added this one, but this one was here before. So let me do this one because it's older. And then boundaries as well, at least personally, because I'm kind of a people pleaser. They kind of just come up to me throughout the day and say, "Hey, Jules, can you do this?" I was like, "Yeah, of course," knowing that I have another project that I should be doing, so I kind of overfill my own plate. It makes it more stressful for me. So just work on your communication and let them know, like, yes, I can do that, but I need to do this first, something like that. And then what do I like about my internship so far? So for me, it's a very good creative outlet as someone who loves art and creating. I enjoy trying new art forms and coming up with ideas for upcoming projects. It's a great way for me to do that since I'm busy with schoolwork. So now I have a place that I can do that. Independence, you're also at this internship. Obviously, people are there to help you out in the beginning, but as I've continued, I've given a lot of free time, like to get the things done how think would be best and to come up with the ideas. And I can even change up ideas if I think there's a better way of doing it, as long as I let them know that I'm changing it. So you get a lot of freedom, and I enjoy that. And the environment is very supportive. Everyone is very sweet and very helpful, in aiding me. As long as you just like I keep saying communication, but that's really just very important. As long as you let them know things, they're gonna understand no matter what. So everyone there is very friendly. And thank you. That's everything.
Right, thank you. Well, I think what I like too is you're in the challenges, you're learning a lot about, yourself, what you need to do, and also how much of that will translate into the working world. And it
Yeah,
so experiencing it now and learning it now is really important, which is awesome.
yeah, for sure.
Well, great. Thank you. All right, next up we have Brenda.
Hi guys, my name is Brenda. I'm a junior at Merrimack and I am a psychology major with a Spanish minor. Let me figure this out. Give me 1 second. Can you guys see anything?
No,
Okay, give me 1 second.
and I have it.
Can you pull it up for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. My internship is at the RISE program at Franklin Elementary School in North Andover. RISE stands for Reaching Independence Through Structured Environments. The location of my internship is 2 Cypress Terrace in North Andover. It's about 5 minutes from Merrimack, maybe less. The mission statement, this is for the whole school, not only the program, but it is at Franklin, we strive to create a safe, challenging educational environment that offers meaningful learning experiences designed to engage all students. We recognize and embrace the wonderful diversity of cultures, talents, learning styles, and backgrounds that our students bring to us. We celebrate individual differences and set high expectations for all. Our goal is to create a community of leaders who treat each other with respect and dignity. We believe we're able to achieve that through the collaborative efforts of a strong partnership between the school, families, and the community who all have a shared vision of common values. The population served in the school are grades 1 through 5, and then on the program that I'm in, which is RISE, there are 2 classrooms of students all diagnosed with autism from grades 1 through 5 as well. The staff and their roles. So in the classroom that I am in, there's 5 teaching assistants, and they support the students and follow through with the teacher's plans for the classroom. And they also support the students in any inclusion opportunities. And then other staff, there is also a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, and a physical therapist. And the kids will go to each one that is necessary for them. They don't go to all of them. Sometimes they only just need to go to either 2 of the therapists or just like one or all of them. And then my supervisor is Deborah Swenson. She has her bachelor's in severe special needs and her master's in elementary education. She is a board certified behavioral analyst as well as a licensed applied behavior analyst in the state of Massachusetts. She has been teaching in North Andover for over 30 years, and she has always taught kids diagnosed with autism from various age groups, starting from ages 3 to 21. She was actually the one who created the RISE program. She was teaching a group of kindergarten students, and just about half of them had autism. So she made a decision to follow them to elementary school and create a program alongside the special education director for kids with ASD, because there was no program at the time. And then the criteria for the program is that the kids that are not successful with inclusion for at least half of their day, and that they come from early intervention services, from preschool and then kindergarten, and then they're forwarded to RISE. My role as an intern is to observe and get to know the students, ask questions regarding the students, the teaching methodologies, IEPs, assessments, and autism in general. I get to work with the students one-on-one or in like small groups, and I support the students during group centers and specials, which is part of their routine every single day. Like group is when they do like they work on vocalizing like certain words or trying to like get understand like how the vowels work and all this kind of stuff. And then centers, they're kind of working on the same thing. And then specials is like gym, music, art, just different activities. And then why I chose this internship placement, I actually worked a lot with Katie, Rosie Tuiva, and she spoke very highly of the program and about the principal and the staff that is currently at the school that I'm working with. They put in a lot of effort to make the kids feel included, and it's an environment that they can actually thrive in. I have two cousins with autism, and so I know the importance of providing an environment like that. And the program embodies that very mission. They provide care, guidance, and every single opportunity they possibly can for the children to grow and to succeed. The challenges that I face or that people who decide to go to this program might face is that young children, especially those with autism, can be challenging when you're trying to communicate with them. There are moments that they resist certain activities. They become extremely frustrated and they express their emotions through tantrums and crying. They don't really communicate a lot with you what they're feeling. And then in these situations, you have to remain extremely calm and then approach them with patience. Try to understand why they're behaving in certain ways, and then respond with compassion by using like good strategies to help them regulate their emotions and navigate the challenges that they're having effectively. And then what I like about it so far is honestly just the kids. They're unique in their own ways. Every time I go there, they put a smile on my face. I can I can like expect to go there and like feel happy about just the choice I made from going to this internship. Um, the kids are extremely smart. They're very dedicated, and I love them. They're just overall amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I love it's nice to hear about it because I feel like it's good to hear about programs that are successful in helping kids feel included and part of the school, which is great. And I really like Deb. She's pretty great too. So I'm glad you're there. And Brenda's our first intern at this program, so it's pretty cool.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Maddie, you are up next.
Okay, I'm gonna try to share.
I see it. Awesome.
So my name's Maddie. I'm a junior here at Merrimack. My major is psychology and my minor is criminal justice. My internship is at the Key program in Methuen, Massachusetts. Um, Key's mission is to assist children and their families in developing positive life skills so they may pursue productive and rewarding lives. At Key, we also follow the rich thing, and it means relationships, respect, information, communication, and hope. So it's like a way to build more positive relationships with like their parents, their significant others, friends, like everything. And I feel like I see a big difference in people that actually apply that at the internship. Um, the Key program supports at-risk youth, specifically young girls at the Methuen location between the ages 10 and 18 who are unable to live in their home for any reasons. My supervisor, her name is Jocelyn. She graduated from University of Rhode Island, with a bachelor's degree in business administration and a minor in education. She joined the Key program about 2 years ago. She worked for a year and a half in direct care as a caseworker, and now she's a program supervisor. She's amazing. She literally makes this internship 100 times better. So if anyone interns here, I hope they have her. The staff roles, there's two clinicians who are at Key. They provide therapeutic services, including individual therapy, group therapy, all different types of counseling to address any mental health needs of the clients. There's outreach caseworkers. They work with the kids, and they're mainly involved with DCF, just providing support for the kids. There's a youth counselor, also known as the residential caseworkers. Those are the people that I mainly work with. You basically just sit around the house, hang out with the kids, help them with their homework, like lead group sessions with them, just make them feel included and like make them all feel equal. Then there's an overnight awake shift worker that's basically self-explanatory. And then there's the administrative assistants. My roles as an intern, I really am just another set of eyes in the program. I can't go hands-on with the girls if any of them like were to get aggressive or like are very upset. Like I am not allowed to be alone with them or anything just because I'm not certified. Um, but I do build very good connections with the girls. A lot of them have opened up to me about things that have happened in their lives, and just like what they've gone through to be put into this group home. So even though I can't do anything specifically, it's a very rewarding internship because you just build a very good relationship and you get to see a lot of things in like the social work and psychology field. It's also a paid internship, so you get paid $500 the second week of every month that you're there. So it's realistically 1,500 over the one semester. Why I chose Key. I chose Key Program because it offers a very unique opportunity to work with the at-risk youth. I think that working in a residential program shows the different side of the kids rather than working with them in the school, which really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And the hands-on experiences that I see there, it's like extremely eye-opening, and I feel like it's like changed my view on social work. So I'm really grateful for it. Some challenges I've faced are um, very difficult. It's a very like heavy internship. You hear a lot of heavy stories. A lot of the girls run away from the program. So it's definitely very heavy. But I also really struggle with like addressing some of the certain family situations. Some of the girls come to me like very upset about family things, and like there's only so much I can do. I can't bring them anywhere. I can't do anything to help them really. So it's very hard to hear how like upset they are and how much they're hurting, and I really can't do much for them. So it just takes a very strong person to do this internship, but it definitely has taught me a lot, and like I've grown a lot. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing it's a paid internship because I didn't know that it was. So that's great. Um, But I also appreciate the understanding that it's heavy. Like it's a lot to hear and manage. I think that's an important piece for people looking into the site need to understand, but it also sounds like you have a really great supervisor. So that does help balance it, which is great. So awesome. Thank you. Okay, Bridget, you are up next.
Hi. Let me try to figure this out right now.
I will look up yours too, just in case, but if you can share it, great. If not, I can cover it.
Can you see this?
Not yet. Sometimes it takes a minute.
What the hell? Okay.
I have it too. I can put it up if that's easier.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
have no idea.
there we go. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay. So hi guys, my name's Bridget. I'm currently a junior. I'm studying psychology and I have minors in chemistry and criminology. I'm doing my internship right now at Beth Israel Lahey Health, their transitional support services unit. So like I said, I'm at Beth Israel Behavioral Health. I'm at their TSS, which is like the acronym that they use. It's in Tewksbury, Mass. It's at the Tewksbury Hospital. It's like within that campus. The population served there is men 18 and over. Their mission statement is a short-term residential support service providing a 24-hour structured environment to support individuals in early recovery from drug and or alcohol addiction. Services include nursing support, individual case management, group treatment services, aftercare planning. Individuals begin to work on developing skills of daily living, including goal setting, problem solving, and self-advocacy. So these are just kind of, there's a lot of staff that work there, and they all have different roles and titles. So the clinical supervisor is my supervisor. His name is Ryan Croker, and I'll get into him a little bit later. But he's responsible for going over case assessments and improving the intake. Like that's his big role. So the client comes in, goes through, gets patted down, all their belongings get confiscated. People go through them to make sure that there's no drug paraphernalia within the belongings, and they then get transported to Ryan, who takes care of assessing what they're there for, or they'll go to a case manager. They submit an intake form, and Ryan goes over that. So I've been present for some of those before. It's a pretty interesting process. And then you have a case manager who's responsible for speaking with the clients on a weekly basis, sending referrals, making phone calls to halfway houses and sober living, facilitate groups. So they're like pretty much the biggest, I would say role in the program. They have about 9 to 10 clients, depending on how many guys are there. Right now, they do have a really good chunk of people. So each case manager, like I said, has about 10 clients that they deal with. And yeah, so, and then you have the program director. Her name is Caitlin. She is kind of in the background. She does a lot of the paperwork type of stuff. If a client is of concern, like of serious concern, and it already goes through the clinical supervisor and there was no progress made, they'll move them over to the program director. This usually happens when a client is at risk of being asked to leave because they've done something that is against their policy. Then you have recovery specialists. They help with group doing intake, taking clients to store when allowed. They're kind of like, I like to describe them as kind of like the parent of the facility because they provide like laundry detergent to clients. They give them soap. They help like to help them do their laundry. They're kind of teaching them like how to get back into society in a way. The groups kind of reflect that as well. Like they do rules group where they're talking about the rules of the house. Like I said, they help with intake. So they'll be like patting clients down and doing the metal detector with them just to make sure that everything's all set. And most of these recovery specialists are recovering addicts themselves, which is really interesting. You can just tell by the way they talk about it that they have like a deeper understanding that what didn't even come from studying at school. It was like from their own experience. Then you have a doctor or provider that comes every 2 weeks to do prescriptions and referrals if needed for clients. Most of the clients are on psychiatric medications. A lot of them are on anti-seizure medications, things like that. They dose on methadone and Suboxone daily, or Suboxone is a different type of process, but if it's methadone, they dose every day. And the nurse comes 2 times a week, and she's responsible for managing medications and helping clients dose with methadone and Suboxone. They have an on-call nurse, though, that will come and help clients dose, because that's controlled medication that can't be taken. Like, clients are not allowed to take that on their own accord. So, yeah. So my direct supervisor, like I said, his name is Ryan Croker. He is the clinical supervisor at this unit. He's been with TSS for over a year now. He originally worked in a neuropsych unit, BIs and brain damage. It's kind of interesting because he never really wanted to work with addiction specifically, but when he started working in this neuropsych unit, he got experience with people who had brain damages due to using substances over an extended period of time. So he kind of grew a passion for it. And this is kind of just information I've learned from him by talking with him on a regular basis. I'm around him very regularly when I'm there. So it's really interesting why he got into the field that he did. And he went to Springfield College to get a master's degree in education and has his MED in clinical mental health counseling. So my responsibilities as an intern, it kind of depends on the day at TSS. Things can kind of erupt out of nowhere. It's kind of unpredictable. So like I help wherever it's needed, but typically I will attend all groups during the day while also contributing to the structure of the group. So during group, there's usually handouts or like discussion topics that will happen, and I will meet with whatever case manager is running that group or recovery specialist is running that group. I'll meet with them and go over a plan for group. So today we're focusing on mental health, so we'll do some mental health printouts, and I'll do like a portion of the group and I'll talk and I'll let the guys talk, and then ask maybe some questions, do a TED talk, things like that. It varies depending on the topic of the group. I have my own clients that I meet with when the case managers are out, and I'm responsible for taking notes during this meeting and setting goals for the meeting. So sometimes it's just a check-in. So yesterday I was at my site and I was just checking in with a guy who I hadn't seen for a while because he was in the hospital for something unrelated, but we were just catching up. We were going over stuff that was going on. You know, he was telling me he's almost coming up on a year sober. So that's like a really cool part of it, that you hear like their accomplishments, and it's like it's very rewarding being able to hear that. But other times I'll have a client come in and he needs to make a phone call to a halfway house, or he needs to call his methadone clinic, whatever it may be. So like I said, like I help when it's needed at that time. So if a client needs to make a phone call, it needs to be supervised. They can't make phone calls like on their own accord. Everything is very structured. At least they try to be as structured as possible. They're not allowed to have their phones with them, so you have to be with them to make those phone calls. I also have to attend the group supervision where all the case managers meet and discuss clients of concern to the clinical supervisor and get feedback. These meetings are really interesting because I get to learn more about clients and like why they're here, issues that they're having, why they're having these issues. And the clinical supervisor will kind of brainstorm what can be done to help that client if the person needs to be removed depending on the situation. These meetings are also for scheduling times to go to the pharmacy or going to the store for the guys. A lot of the guys smoke cigarettes, so one of the case managers goes to the store with them. They get what they need. They're allowed to smoke at this unit. So it's, they kind of it's like catching up on everything during the week and during the weekend. So why I chose this placement, after my undergraduate degree, I want to go to graduate school for addiction mental health counseling. So I felt this was a way to dip my toes in that. I really enjoy what this location has to offer in terms of treatment for client. It's a very like laid back environment. It's structured because they have to go to groups and their medication is supervised and phone calls and things like that. But it's laid back in the sense that like they have a lot of time to themselves to self-reflect on their experiences. And I think that is the most important part about treatment, especially with substance abuse. And I've learned that when working there, that these guys have a lot of time to themselves, and that causes them to think in their own head, like the guilt, the shame that they feel. And that's like an important part of processing it. Um, and like the men create community amongst themselves. And I had noticed that when I went into for my interview, I was able to like walk through the building and like kind of I said like hi to some of the guys and whatever, and I just noticed like right off the bat that that was the type of environment it was, and I really enjoyed that. And I really like that the treatment is individually based, so every client has a treatment plan and aftercare plan, and I really think that's important because substance abuse is such a complicated mental illness that it needs to be individual. It should go case by case basis, and everybody reacts to different types of treatment. So some challenges and takeaways are my favorite parts. So for some challenges, receiving attitude and backlash from clients who aren't ready to recover is a very common thing that happens. A lot of the time, not a lot of the time, but a good chunk of the time, I'll have clients who just don't want to speak to me at all. They think the world is against them. They have no reason to be here. They're not as bad as the people here. Things like that. That's difficult because you can't force somebody to recover when they're not ready to. Which is they can leave if they want to. You have to check yourself in, but you can check yourself out. It's not forced. And sometimes clients make like say they went to jail, the judge will say you can go to substance abuse treatment for the set amount of time instead of serving time or whatever it is. So sometimes they're just not ready, which is okay. Not being able to get like one-on-one time with clients. I recently have been getting a little bit more time, but at the beginning for the first month, it was kind of like doing all the paperwork, and I hated that. Like, I don't think I like obviously with any kind of job like this, there's paperwork involved, but I like talking to the clients and being able to connect with them. That's like my favorite part. It's the most rewarding part. Um, and that was like kind of iffy at first, but it did kind of develop as time went on. Writing notes for case managers to read, making sure they're detailed enough. These notes have to be like extremely detailed to the point where it's like over analyzing, and they have to be written in a very specific format that I'm not used to writing in. So I've been like learning how to adapt to that. And then boundaries, I think, is like the biggest one. Um, it it's very easy to get caught up with a client that just wants human connection, and there's no like, it's not like in a provocative way. It's just they haven't actually been a part of society in such a long time that they don't know how to act sometimes, and you can tell, and you have to kind of sit down and be like, listen, like the way you went about talking to me about this was not appropriate, and like those conversations are uncomfortable, but they're necessary and they're really important. So some of the challenges, but for the best parts, hearing the recovery stories of people who are serious about getting better, it's amazing to hear it. It brings tears to my eyes every time I hear these guys say, I have a week sober, I have a month sober, I have a year sober. It brings so much joy to me. And being able to help men who are struggling with addiction is just, it holds a special place in my heart. My dad is a recovering addict himself, and he's been clean and sober for 15 years, and I've had personal experience with it. So it just brings so much joy to me to hear these stories. Getting experience in a clinical setting and like having the background knowledge of paperwork and how that works and how to deal with issues. I've never experienced something like that, and I'm really enjoying the experience so far. And then like a little niche about it, the guys, a lot of them are very artistically inclined, which is really interesting. And they'll make drawings for you and like specialized it's great. Like I'll come home and I have like paper, like all these coloring sheets that these guys have made me, and it's awesome. They're very art creative, and it's super interesting to see. And this is something that's like common among addicts, which I think is really interesting. And the group supervisions are really interesting to me. Like I like being a part of like a group setting and like hearing feedback from everybody involved, especially because they have so much experience. I really like to hear that. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like such a rich experience. Like there's just so much that you can learn and do, which sometimes isn't every internship. So this is a great one. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Abigail.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can make this work. Okay. Can we see it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Um, oops. Can we see it? I just want to make sure.
Yes, it's up there.
Wonderful. Okay. I'm Abigail. I am a first semester senior, actually, and my internship is at Shed Children's Campus, which is located in North Andover. I am a psychology major and a criminology minor. Okay. So, Shed is open weekdays, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they have many programs, including pre-K. They have a summer program, forest kindergarten. They have morning and after school programs, and then they have toddler care as well. And the population that they serve is children from a really early age, like under a year old, so all the way up to 8th grade. And so here's a little map of the campus for Shed because it is a large outdoor-based kind of learning school. So they have a whole bunch of different stuff. They have like a basketball court, they have yurts, fields, they have a fort, they have a couple gardens, and a couple playgrounds as well. So this is the mission statement for Shed. So they follow a Reggio Emilia philosophy, which believes that a child has a natural curiosity that should be what drives learning, and that educators' job is to facilitate those activities that can help the child explore their own natural interests. And those educators also observe how those children learn. So it is really individually based, which is I think is wonderful, and the kids really enjoy it as well. And then I have a quick little video.
The Reggio Emilia approach in a nutshell.
An educational philosophy based on the image of the child and of human beings as possessing strong potentials for development and as a subject of rights who learns and grows in the relationships with others. Developed by a young and inspirational teacher, Loris Malaguzzi. He promoted the idea of children as active participators in their own learning in a unique reciprocal relationship with their teachers. Learning is an active process, not a transmission of pre-packaged knowledge. Rather, the child has 100 languages, meaning children have multiple ways to express themselves.
Okay, I'll just pause it there.
In the Reggio Emilia.
Okay. Okay, so staff. So I work with a couple different people, but my main director is Dina Hurley, and then her like assistant, also another director, is Linda. So Dina has been at Shed since 1992. She joined the team after graduating from Wheelock College with a bachelor's in human development, and having a concentration in child life. In 2000, she completed her master's degree in child development, and then she began her career as an educator at SCC. And then 2018, she became the program director for Shed. And then we also have Shayna, which is another director. And then the rest of the team is all educators, and they work directly with the children, and they facilitate the activities and observe. So some of my roles here. So it is an unpaid internship, but they do offer paid roles depending on like kind of like how you do with the children and how you take with their like philosophy and all that. They do have extremely flexible hours. As you can tell, they're open from 8 a.m. all the way to 6, and they have a variety of programs. So I personally do the after school program, which is from 4 to 6, and I usually go there from 3 to 6 during the week. And we basically just do activities with the kids and take care of them until their parents come pick them up. And it's after school, so we're not doing like school learning. We're going outside and doing activities. I chose this placement because personally, I want to work with children and adolescents. My future goal is to be a clinical child psychologist, focusing on early childhood trauma. And SHED's population varies with a ton of different backgrounds and children of all ages. And so I thought it was a great way for me to experience all of those ages and see like kind of what works best for me. It is very inviting. Everybody is extremely kind. It's a very accepting environment, so they'll really accommodate to anything that you need. And it really allowed me to engage in conversations with children and learn how to like build really meaningful relationships with them. Some challenges that you can face while working here, obviously, like frustration with the children's behavior. We do have children with a variety of behavioral issues, and varying disorders, and we have to accommodate to each child. But sometimes those behaviors can be frustrating, especially when the children isn't really like reciprocating to what you're trying to do. You can also experience frustration with other staff, with like their approaches on how they want to address certain situations that happen between the children. And then also with parents, which is something that I personally feel affects me the most, is I do feel a lot of resentment with parents sometimes because you do see a lot of neglect and you see a lot of just that the child isn't receiving what they should be from the mother or father or whoever's taking care of them. And you can often feel really powerless because of that, because you can't control the lives of the students when they leave SHED or even like before they come. You can't really control like the decisions their parents make either. And yeah, children are really often neglected by parents and guardians, so it can be really difficult to see those situations. Things that I like about it so far, I felt that I immediately fit in and I found a place. Everyone was super inviting and helpful. I enjoy doing a lot of the activities with the children because they like to do like arts, crafts, they do sledding. Right now that the weather's getting warmer, they've been doing like these crazy noodle fights outside with like the pool noodles. It's really funny. Um, and I really enjoy building the relationship with the children, as I said earlier. Um, and personally, I also sub when I'm home. Like I'm a substitute teacher when I go home, and I've worked in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. And this is also a similar population to what I work with at SHED. And there are some serious comparisons between the two. I do think SHED's population, because this is a more wealthy area, the children do come from wealthier families, so you don't see as much of maybe the harder stories that you would experience um, in a public school setting in a more lower income area, which is like kind of what I experienced. So, and I just wanted to share one of their statements that they had on their page, which was SHED Children's Campus is committed to creating a welcoming environment for children, families, and staff that values all regardless of gender identity, age, race, and ethnicity, disability, and socioeconomic status, religion, sexual orientation. We welcome all in our community to better connect, embrace, and learn from each other. And that's it. And then I know Jake's gonna share his point of view from SHED as well. So let me just stop sharing. Okay.
All right, Jake.
All right. So yeah, I'll go over my slide. I can share my screen. So the screen itself.
And you can always go down since we got the overview from Abigail, you can go down to sort of
Like,
what you specifically do and
yeah,
when and all that good stuff. So you can get your take on it.
sure. So I'll just go. Can you see the screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I forgot to put it in presentation mode, but this seems to be fine. So,
You can just
uh,
change to the slide you're talking about. That's perfect.
all right. So, Shed Community Center Station, and me, and going down. So it's kind of the same stuff that was just highlighted on where it's located. It's 65 Phillips Street, North Andover, Mass. It's a nonprofit community-based facility that is after school, but also in school for some students. So like some of the kids will be there for um, like they'll be there all day. It'll be kind of as their school, count as their school, and then for some others, it will just be an after-school program. Um, and I didn't know that when I first started working there. And after having to talk with some of the people I work with, that's what they explained to me a little bit because I was confused for a minute. Some of them were talking about how they just came from school. Anyways, it's grades kindergarten through fifth, not eighth. It's grades K through five. The program offers a variety of activities aimed at skill development and enrichment, working with ages K through five, offering unique learning opportunities. So what the goal is to offer like a more hands-off experience, like is what I was described and what I've seen from working there. It's hands-off. It's very let the kids kind of figure out learning. Don't help them, like guide them, but you want them to learn on their own and be more self-sufficient. So roles at Shed, there's teachers, there's program coordinators, and then there's administrative staff. There's a lot of teachers. They're the people I usually work with who make plans for what we're going to do that said day. Usually they have an agenda of what key focuses they want to hit with younger kids I work with. It's more just learning like basic tasks like spelling, the alphabet, math, reading. With the older kids, it's more of doing an actual task, like or playing a game. Um, Program coordinators, I don't know them as well, but presume they are the ones that are behind what is going to be done throughout the day. Because usually when I walk in, the teachers will say that they were given these instructions and they were given these key topics to hit for the day. And then the administrative staff are the people that they like hop in out of rooms, but I don't really talk to them. They just run the program itself. So the mission statement is to create a safe space for children to learn and grow, expose children to a community focused world, help children develop strong connections to themselves, their friends, and the world. So kind of highlighting on the do-it-yourself, self-sufficiency. So my boss and my supervisor, that's it. So Dina Early is my boss. She works in the office. She's the person that I like go to for my schedule or like for like timesheets. Her job is to provide support to each classroom as well as check in on groups who may need. So recently I've been seeing her pop in almost every time I'm there, but she'll pop in once, usually a day, and we'll make sure everything's going the way like the teachers had it set up. The program is very hands-off program, allows children to freely express themselves, find solutions to issues on their own. I split my time between two age groups. First is kindergarten, and then there's third graders. My supervisor for kindergarten is Clara. She's nice. I like know her pretty well. But with that group, we try to focus, like I said, on more simple. It's hands off, but it's definitely more the hands on like the third graders because the kids at that age aren't as self sufficient. So usually we'll have simple tasks set up, and you show kids how to do something, but you don't do it for them. Then with the third graders, I work with Johnny and Joel. They have usually a set agenda for what they want to get done that day or what they want to happen that day. And then the kids do it however they please. They like will give the kids the resources and they will figure it out. So next There's some goals at Shed. Goals for Shed include work with children at site to give them a better day and more enjoyable time while providing challenges. Working with children comes with a variety of challenges such as patience, understanding, and on-the-nose decision making. When working at Shed, my goal is to give kids an enjoyable and memorable experience that helps them to be more independent. Overall, Shed's goal is to keep children on an independent path and to ensure they have a safe and healthy environment for which they can thrive. That's why I choose Shed. I enjoy Shed's. I enjoy the various, like the variety of what we do at Shed. I like working with children, just fun for me. And I like the variety. I like the different experiences than what I guess would be expected at like a school or something like that, where it's very rigid and you have to follow like a very strict guideline. I like the more outside the box thinking style of Shed and the more, like I said, hands off experience. It's fun getting to like work with different kids. You know, I guess I wouldn't say see them grow because I've only been there for like 2 months, but I would say it's fun to see like how different kids interact because you're when you go there, you're like an older figure. They kind of look up to you in a way. I didn't like think about it, but then like my teachers would be like, "Oh, like the younger kids would be like asking about me," or the older kids would be like, "Hey, you want to like do this? You want to do that? You want to play ping pong? You want to go outside? You want to go play soccer with us? Whatever it may be." And so it's pretty fun, like that you can like give children a fun experience after day, or this is like their day at school. Um, and then so lastly, my favorite parts of Shed. Shed's very fun and different experience from what I've worked in the past. I enjoy the new way of approaching the job and what I've gained from being there. Not only I felt I've learned new skills, but also I found a new identity. Working at Shed is a great opportunity and a entertaining way to start the job journey. And I'd say like elaborating quickly on found a new identity. Obviously, like not fully, but it's like fun. I feel like I can be like a separate self than my school self. Like not like fully separate, but I can like just like being off campus is fun for me. Sometimes I like just walking and stuff. And so going to Shed, kind of meeting new people, it's a fun opportunity for me. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I feel like for both of you, it's nice to have a program where you're able to just sort of explore and understand child development because they really let the kids lead, which is really cool. And that philosophy is very specific, but I think really appeals to a lot of kids. So it's great. So you're getting to really see child development in action with the various ages, which is cool. Great. All right. And last but not least, we've got Alexis.
Okay. All set. Were you able to see everything?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. My name's Alexis. I'm a junior here. I'm a psychology major. I'm currently interning at through the Nashua School District, and they have me primarily located at the McCarthy Middle School. The school's location is 41 D'Antino Drive in Nashua, New Hampshire. Their mission statement is the Nashua School District will educate the whole child to empower the student's success. Their vision is that the Nashua School District will be the model for excellence in public education for the student, staff, and community. And their values are that the Nashua School District will value a passion for the learning and importance of integrity, trust, respect, empathy, and tenacity. The population I work with, that the school works with, is 6th, 7th, and 8th, but me and my supervisor primarily work with the 6th grade. And then they service anyone that is living in Nashua, New Hampshire. The staff overall contains teachers, guidance counselors, administration, special education teachers, principal, janitorial staff, just to name a few overall. Teachers help guide the students, gain new information and knowledge. The guidance counselors provide academic, personal, and social support to the students. Administration organize and manage students, parents' concerns, school events, and provide support for the school overall. The special education teachers help students with specific difficulties grow and flourish throughout their school and their environment. And the principals lead and control the entire school and oversee all that is done through the staff and with the students. And the janitorial staff help provide the students with a clean, safe, and well-managed school environment. My supervisor is Amanda D'Souza. She's a clinical social worker and therapist with her LICSW, so licensed independently, a clinical licensed independent social worker. She's licensed in the state of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. She graduated from the University of New Hampshire with her MSW. Her school responsibilities and my responsibilities as an intern kind of overlap. Because I am an undergraduate and I do not have a degree, I'm not legally allowed to have any responsibilities primarily on myself. So I kind of oversee with my supervisor and watch her and learn based on what she's doing. So our kind of responsibilities together are to follow the students through their educational career and provide them with the support when they need it. We educate the importance of mental health and inform them of healthy coping strategies they can use when they come across difficulties. We connect the students with outside resources through Katie's Closet, and then any other resources nearby, like Boys and Girls Club and local parks and research. And they provide an overall an open, non-judgmental, and healthy environment where they can reach out for help at any time. I chose this internship because they responded and they were interested in me fast, which I find is something that is sometimes difficult when trying to find an internship, as they take a while to respond. And then I also like that they were interested in me, and my resume and me as a person. They were very clear about my roles and responsibilities and were easy to communicate with. Right from the start, when I was talking with them trying to get this internship, they were very transparent that I will not be able to work so much hands-on, like one-on-one with them, because I don't have any licensing, and also conflicts with the fact that they're all minors. But they were still very transparent that they were going to get me the best internship they could provide, with many opportunities and learning experiences. And I 100% believe they held up to their expectations and what they wanted to do for me. They were super excited to work with me, my knowledge and my skills. Again, they liked my resume and what I had to offer for them. They included the age demographic I want to work with in the future. I primarily want to work with adolescents, primarily around 13. So these were right in the age demographic I wanted to work with. And then I'm learning straight from a social worker, which is what I want to get my degree up to after my bachelor's, and then going on to my master's degree. And challenges that you may face. You're hearing a lot of difficult stories and paths from such young children that they've been through. Some of these kids are so young. They're 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, but these 6th graders are telling you stories of stuff that I would have never expected to hear from some of their stories. And you're helping them to process and heal from these struggles and these difficulties that no one should have to deal with, let alone these children. So not only do you have to hear about these, you have to process them for yourself and help them process them. And again, I feel like no child should ever have to deal with any type of abuse, domestic abuse, any neglect, having to switch homes, or any sort, even as simple, and I don't want to say simple, but as simple as bullying. Like, no child should ever have to deal with that. But that's just something that happens, unfortunately, a lot, and that's something you need to help them process and work through. And what I like most about my internship so far is that it's a overall happy, healthy, and supportive environment. I work with great people. I'm currently the only intern there, but everyone there has been very helpful and happy that I've been there. They love to work with me and they love my new, fresher perspective since a lot of them have been out of school for so long. They like the more updated information I can bring them and provide for them. They're very clear and transparent on my responsibilities. The fact that, again, like I said before, that I can't work one on one primarily with the students, but they were very accommodating about what I wanted to achieve through the internship. They're easy to communicate with, they're always responded back within a good amount of time, never had to wait too long to hear from them. They provided me with my learning opportunities through different sitting in with different lessons and then getting to guide some of the one-on-ones or the 3-on-1, 2-on-1s, different group sessions that I was able to lead with my supervisor being there. So still getting to get that opportunities and those experiences, even with not being able to work one-on-one with them. And overall, the children are so fun and exciting, and they always keep me on my toes. There's never a day where there's the same thing happening. There's always something different happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the fun thing about being in a school. There's the day is never the same.
Yes.
So those are all of our presentations. Before we wrap up officially, I was hoping to hear from anyone that might want to offer advice for students that are maybe right now looking at internships or haven't done an internship yet. Is there something that you learned while doing the process or something that you can offer for students that are either thinking about it or about to kind of start that process now?
I would say kind of with what I had said during my presentation is that some places do take a while to respond back. So definitely get ahead on it. Like there's no such thing as like too early. Just jump on it, reach out. Like even if you think it's like too early to apply or they're not taking applications, even just reaching out, making that connection that you're looking for, maybe next semester or in a few months and seeing what they can give you for information, just having that connection. And then always, if they'll accept applications, applying as soon as possible so you can create that, again, connection and then get that process already started because sometimes they need query forms, fingerprints, and then just background checks. So it does take a while to process. So get on it and be patient, even though that's probably the hardest part.
I think that's very good advice because it's a lot of those things you don't know you need if you haven't been in this environment, and especially working with kids, like a lot of people are. There's a lot of extra background checks that have to happen. So that's a very smart thing to advise. You kind of do have to jump on it early, and you don't know when or who is going to get back to you. So kind of really working on it all the way through is important. Yeah. Anybody else have any advice or thoughts about people moving to this stage? No, that's fine. Well, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody. It was great to hear about the experiences, and I think that I know students will watch this who aren't able to make it live, and they'll really appreciate hearing your perspective. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.